Hi guys, and welcome to another video of Aqua Paradise. So in this video we're going to cover a update video on all the tanks and future projects on the channel. So in this video, like I said at the intro, I'm just simply going to be doing an update on all my tanks, future projects which are actually coming up soon, and I'll be doing a video on that. And simply seeing how all the fish, coral and plants are, as well as simply what equipment I'm using, what tanks I'm using, what lights I'm using and what I'm not using from previous videos. So this video is going to be a big shock because a few things have gone and it is all of a sudden. So some of you guys will be wondering where that is and why it's gone. So in this video I'm going to explain all those things. So here you see a 70 litre or 15 gallon tank. This tank actually was from the fish room quite a few videos back. And this is currently housing my marine fish. We still have the clown, the chromis and the fairy wrasse. But I don't remember, as I told you guys, that one clown died and the rest of the chromis died. So this is all the marine fish left from the 180 litre tank. We still have all the corals, the two pink toadstool corals as well as the white toadstool coral. We also have a large polyps of zoas on the top, as you can see them. We also still have the elephant ear coral as well as the green star polyps and the mushrooms. But other than that, everything has not changed with the marine. Currently on the little tank we're using the 165 watt Chinese LED light, just because of the fact that it makes the colour of the marine tank pop more, as it's got a lot more purple, and it makes the tank, it gives the tank a lot more depth than standard normal white and blue LED lights. So for filtration, the 406 Fuval external filter is not on this tank, just because it is really noisy, and all my tanks are in my bedroom at the moment, so that makes it very difficult to sleep at night. So that tank, that filter went, and this tank's only 70 litres, so it doesn't actually need that tank. So in this tank, the filter which is filtrating the tank at the moment is the Eheim Pickup 200, which we unboxed 2 videos ago, I believe. So that filter's in this tank, and we're still using the same power head. We're using a Tunes power head. I don't remember which one it is in particular, but we're still using the Tunes power heads out of the 180. Apart from this time we're only using 1, not 2, just because they're quite powerful, and in this tank it doesn't need that much flow, just because the fish and the coral go flying everywhere. So there is only one need for 1 power head, and as well as the filter. That's enough flow for this tank, and this tank is only temporary till tomorrow, which for today it's Tuesday and tomorrow is Wednesday when the new project sets up, and these fish will be moved tomorrow or probably Thursday, maybe possibly the weekend. I'm hoping to try and get it all done tomorrow, which is Wednesday, just so it's a lot easier. So this actually could be the last time you guys see this tank, but I thought I'd show you how all the fish are doing, how including the freshwater. In this video we will go to the freshwater fish as well, but I wanted to show you guys how all the fish are doing, and as well as the coral and plants. We'll cover them as well. So let's go on to the coral now. The coral, like I said, I told you what coral is still left, but all coral is doing quite good. The only coral at the moment which is not doing quite good and is sulking a bit is the white or yellow toadstool coral, which you can see in the back. It's not fully come out yet. The lights have not been on for a long time, but it has been sulking for a few days, just because of the tank move and it not really like being touched. So yeah, so that toadstool, it's still healthy. It will pop more out once it gets settled into a tank and I start bothering it with moving it. But other than that, with the marine, everything is quite the same. Well, I'll tell you what the future product is. The future product is a fish rack. It is a bank of three 3-foot tanks. So these tanks are 3 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, roughly measuring out about 84 litres. So that's just over about 16 gallon. So they're not very, there's not a lot of water in them, but they're short, they're shallow and long, which is great for my marine and quite a lot of the freshwater fish I want to keep in the rack. So the rack will be freshwater and saltwater. Because the rack doesn't run on a sump, I can put in the tanks whatever I want, because obviously in a sump it's all connected together, and obviously you can't have a marine and freshwater sumped bank just because of the fact that you can't let the water mix. If you had 2 separate sumps, that could happen, but generally they only have 1 sump. This rack doesn't have a sump underneath. There isn't actually room for a sump underneath, just because this rack is a lot smaller than commercial fish shot racks. But it does resemble the racks. So this rack will allow me to keep both my freshwater fish and my saltwater fish in one place, and it'll be able for me to easily do water changes, easily do maintenance, and have all my tanks in one particular place. This saves me a load of hassles of taking water downstairs, taking water upstairs, bringing equipment upstairs, bringing equipment downstairs, and all that hassle with maintenance and stuff. With my fish, I just want to keep it plain and simple and enjoy them more than doing maintenance. Now with marine, it's a lot more maintenance orientated than freshwater, simply because marine are classed as harder to keep, and you've got more difficult things to do, like mixing salt water, matching things like alkalinity, calcium levels, magnesium levels, trace element levels in particular, especially when you're dealing with corals. I am going to be going into LPS coral soon, which is another thing which I'm going to cover on my channel soon. So the water needs to be perfect for the LPS coral, because unlike soft coral, LPS coral is not as lenient with water parameters, with phosphate and nitrate parameters, than soft coral. Soft coral does typically do better with nitrates and phosphates rather than cleaner water. So for me, it's going to show me a bit of a challenge when keeping LPS and soft coral, because I kind of got to keep them both happy. But the plan is to eventually move on to more difficult coral, and eventually after LPS coral we'll go on to things like SPS coral and MPS coral, things which are a lot different and a lot harder to keep than your general soft coral. So LPS coral for me is the next stage, and that's what we're going to be moving on to on this channel. So with the bank, like I said, I'm going to cover what's going in what tank. Now there's three 3-foot tanks, like I said, on this bank. Now the top 3-foot bank is going to be a freshwater tank. All of the 3 foot's going to be freshwater. The second bank, I'm going to split it into 2, so it's going to be 1.5-foot tanks on that rack. Now they're going to both be filtrated by 1 filter. Now I am going to drill holes in the divider, small little holes what the fish can't get through, but what the water can pass through. And in one tank I'll place a small power head, and in the other tank I'll place the filter. What will this do? It will circulate the water to pass through both tanks and get filtrated. This way you can keep the water the same parameters, the temperature the same, not needing to run individual filters and individual heaters, just because of the fact that costs plugs. Not so much that it costs money, it's just that the fact that I have a limited amount of plugs to work with. I've only got about 8 plugs to work with, and I don't really want to use all 8 plugs. I want to try and keep it down to maybe 4 or 5, just like I would do for my normal setup tanks. Now the third bottom tank is going to be a marine. Now this is going to house everything I've got marine, so everything you see in this tank now is going in that third bank rack. tank, which is a mouthful. So yeah, the power heads, the coral, the rock, the filters, everything's going in that third tank. Now, substrate, as you can see, I really do actually like these bare bottom tanks. They do look nice, it reflects the colour well, and the fish actually look a lot much vibrant because of the fact that the colour bounces off the glass, where the substrate, the colour, the light is absorbed by the substrate, especially with things like diatoms and algae, which generally come in new systems. So yeah, so generally the bank is my new project, and I'm going to be doing breeding, soft water fish, freshwater fish, fragging, different types of coral. It's just going to be a way of showing you guys loads of cool things all in one, and I don't need to take all the tripods or the filming equipment downstairs, and I don't need to bring everything upstairs constantly. It can all stay in one place, which again is another thing which I really want. And as well, the 180 litre tank didn't allow me to have LEDs with the design of the tank. Now I could use LEDs but hang them over the tank, and I don't really want to do that because I don't really like drilling into walls and hanging lights. It's not really, I don't particularly like it. In the future maybe, but not at this particular moment. What the rack allows me to do is use this LED light, which I've wanted to use for ages, but I've only been able to use on my small tanks. So this will allow me to use that light because the rack has sliding covers which go across to block any light coming out, which was my big problem with these small tanks. So that'll be great. These marine tanks are going to look ace. They're not going to be washed out with white and blue. They're going to have some purple, some green, some red, some warm white, some white, some royal blues. They're going to have a mixture of LEDs, giving this exact colour you see now. So generally that is it for the marine. I'm not going to talk about chat on about any more of the marine, because this video is going to go on forever otherwise. So I'm going to move on to the freshwater tanks. So the freshwater tanks, again, it is an old fish room tank from my fish room, roughly about 90 litres. So what I'm going to get into is what fish I'm keeping and things which I'm going to be doing with the freshwater in the bank. So the fish stock is the same as before: gold rams, harlequin tetra, harlequin rasbora, penguin tetra, and bronze corridors catfish. So what I want to do with these guys is simply do like a barb and cichlid tank on the top, and as well as a dwarf breeding project on shrimps at the bottom, maybe in the middle rack. I'm not too sure when it comes to projects with the freshwater, but I know I definitely want to keep barbs, cichlids, and possibly shrimp, but I'm not too sure yet. As well as community fish like rasbora, tetras, pencil fish, all of them. So that's simply it with the freshwater. I'm not going to reveal too much about the freshwater because a lot of my videos are going to be freshwater oriented based, is that the word? Because my channel's been doing a lot of saltwater recently and not a lot of freshwater, so I'm going to keep a lot of freshwater stuff undercover sort of thing, until I've got a few more videos. So thanks guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video and the projects, and really look forward, like me, to future projects. So thanks guys for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.